Right, hello again. Today I thought I'd introduce a project of mine. It's a Series 3 Land Rover that I'm currently rebuilding. So in this video I wanted to kind of introduce it and tell you where I got with it so far. As I didn't have this channel when I started taking it all apart, so I'm going to include a few pictures and videos of me taking it apart. And yeah, I wanted to start this as kind of a part one of the series. I want to make a series out of it, showing me rebuilding the whole thing. So I'm going to show you where I am at currently and where I plan to go with it. So let's get into it. Right, so basically, to give you a quick bring up to date on it, really, I bought probably 3 or 4 years ago now a Land Rover Series 3 short wheelbase, which had an engine in it, bulkhead, gearbox, and rear axle. Didn't have a front axle in it. Really in a state of disrepair, to be honest. And I just had it on the back burner, thinking I might weld it up and turn it into a nice one. But this summer I came across another Series 3 short wheelbase Land Rover, which didn't have an engine in it or box. No, it did have a box in it. Didn't have an engine in it, but that one had a much better chassis on it, and all the body panels, really, because the other one didn't have a front clip on it. So I've got 2 of them, and what my plan is I've stripped down the one I bought in summer to a bare chassis, and I've started stripping down the other one with the engine in it now. So I'm taking the engine out of that one, which is a military spec 2.25 petrol, and I've taken the bulkhead off the one with the engine in it as well, because that's better than the one I had on mine. And I'm just gonna make a good one out of the 2, really. So I'll show you what I've got. So the plan is, with this one, I've already got some people to come give me a hand, taking the I've whipped the bulkhead off of it, and I'm just going to strip this down, get the rear axle out, get the engine out of it, because this one, as you can see, I didn't really tell before I took the bulkhead off it, but the chassis on it is really beyond repair, really. It's just breaking away. So
This isn't so bad. Yeah, I thought it'd be a lot worse than this. I'll be able to buff this out, no problem.
this one is just going to be a donor vehicle, really, and I imagine it'll end up going in the scrap bin. But so this is the first one. Right, so the Land Rover you're looking at here is my first one that I bought about 4 years ago, with the intention of repairing it, but I kind of just left it, really. Didn't get around to it till I bought my new one, started thinking about it. But this has a 2.25 petrol in it, and I've had a look in it. I've never had it running, but the oil in it looks pretty decent for sitting about for a while. I mean, it's not gone milky, which is a good thing, such as there's no water got in it. And I've just looked at the top through the oil cap, and it all looks quite clean in there, which is a good sign. So probably a couple of months I can get it sat in my new chassis when it's all painted up, and see what it does. But let's have a look at my other chassis now. So this is my second one that I bought in the summer. As you can see, this chassis on here is not the best because it's a Land Rover, but it's quite good for a Land Rover. So it's all quite straight and solid. The only bits that are a bit dodge on this are this outrigger that's rusted up. But that's the good thing about these Land Rovers, is you can buy all of this stuff brand new and just weld it on there. So now with this one, this is the next step of it, is take it to the workshop, clean it up and weld the new bits on it. So it's that, and there's cross members here. Someone's made a very nasty repair on it at some stage, so we'll have to take that out and make a nice solid job of it. But yeah, so this is the second one that's going to be the Land Rover one day. So I'll include some pictures on how it came to be in this stage, but that's how it is. Right, so here's the Land Rover when I first got it. It was in a shed, well not a shed, it was in a lock-away garage, and as you can see here, looks like it's been in there for a few years. And yeah, so the first task we had was obviously trying to pull it out of there when all 4 of the brake drums were locked solid in a small garage, and there was a garage block right next to it, so I mean, couldn't even get the length of the truck in there really. So that was a task in itself. But you know, there's it in the garage. But luckily I had 2 of my mates and my dad to come and help me drag it out. You can see the blue Defender in the right hand corner there. That dragged it out no problem. But it was a bit difficult manoeuvring it about the place. But then once we got it out, we had to go about getting all of the the brake drums off. So what we had to do in the end was take all of the wheels off and just, not the best way to do it, but it worked, was smack the brake drums with a lump hammer to get the years of corrosion where it'd been sitting in the garage for so many years to free off. So let's take all of those off, and then they did free off after a while. Here's a picture on my hand when I smacked it with a hammer by accident. That was painful. So that was the first day I think I had it back. Started to have a bit of a fiddle about with it. Yeah, so as you can see, this one is in fairly good order. It's got all of the front wings and bumper and stuff on it, and the windscreen in nice order, and a bonnet. There it is again. And so someone had clearly started partly restoring this or partly taking it apart, really, because it doesn't have the engine in it but had the gearbox in it, and half the floor was taken up in it, and the back box wasn't on, and obviously the wings and the doors aren't in colour. So as you can see, it's fairly straight though. For a Land Rover, you don't really see them this straight. Usually quite abused. But there we have it. Was the first day I moved it around. So now I've got a little video of me moving it on the back of the Fordson so you can see how that worked. Right, so once I got a move round, I firstly started when my mates came over, and we spent an evening crawling around on the shit, getting this bulkhead out, which someone had very kindly left a nasty trap for us on it, because it has 2 pillars that bolt on to the chassis that come off the bulkhead, and for some apparent reason, best known to the person who did it, one of them, even though there was no rust or anything by where these pillars are, they'd welded one of them. They put a really small bead weld on the bottom of it, and only on one of them, not on the other one, not anywhere else on the bulkhead, and for no apparent reason. So that had us scratching our heads for a bit, but we got it off in the end. So that was kind of a big step to get that bit off. So you can see the whole chassis is one. That's another picture after I did it. So this bit here is I started, I got the rear axle out of it, which wasn't too much grief, to be honest. But it was very strange on this Land Rover, to be honest, because some parts on it, like even differing from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. I mean, taking those leaf spring bolts out, some of them would come out like a dream, like you put them in yesterday, and some of them you'd be fighting it with an angle grinder, hammers and stuff for about an hour. But I got it out. The rear one wasn't too much grief. Yeah, there it is. So I had to pull it out of the quad. Heavy old lump, that rear axle was. Yeah, so this is what I'm speaking about. On the front one, there was a complete bastard to get the front axle out. As you can see here, I had to get this bolt out and I just had to wiggle it back and forth with this big scaffold pole on my breaker bar. But I got it out of there eventually. And also, I don't think I got a picture of it on my phone, but the the left hand leaf spring, the bolt just sheared straight off, and I had to kind of fight it with an angle grinder, cut it off either side. Really horrible job. But that's when I got it all stripped out. I got the front and rear axle out, and I got my little tractor pulling it out there. So that's where it is in its current state, really. That was down to the bare metal. I mean, this is a better picture of what I was explaining earlier, where someone's really kind of done a bodge job of that repair to that bulkhead bit, or that cross member, should I say. And that's the outrigger that needs repairing. But I mean, they're very simple things to repair these. I mean, this outrigger here you can buy for 50 quid and just weld it straight on there. So it's no mammoth job, this chassis. But that's how it is. So I've talked about the first one, kind of giving you the best kind of backstory I can to that. So now I'll give you a little bit of a story on the other one, but to be honest, it hasn't got much of one. So I'll just tell you a bit about it. Right, so this is what they bought it like, where the guy who had it before me, and he had the front axle out of it. I think I got, what did I get with it? I think I might have got the grille and the bumper, maybe. I got the bumper. Got some nice towing eyes on there actually, I don't think I got those. Typical. But yeah, that's how they got it. I think someone had used it as an air rifle target at some point, the amount of bullet holes it had in the side of it. But that's the day we picked it up. As you can see, it doesn't have the front axle in it there. Looking in a very sorry state. And that's us unloading it in the yard. So yeah, at this stage I kind of bought it cheaply, really, back then. That was when Land Rovers were still cheap. Now they've gone through the roof. But I knew I always wanted one to build, and this is where I started off with, really. I feel like it's a very English country thing. If you're from England in the country, you always want a Land Rover. But yeah, so that's where I started off with that one, really. But I'll show you a video now of me pulling it out this year, to when I started tearing it apart. So I had to retrieve it out of the bushes after a few years of neglect. So I'll show you that now. Right, I know what you're probably thinking from that video. You're probably thinking, how the fuck's this bloke ever going to restore a Land Rover if he can't even keep his tractor in a straight line? Well, the problem is with this tractor, it's my David Brown tractor. I'm currently trying to get a shot of, really. I'm going to sell that. But what went wrong with that in that video is it's got a the steering box on it. It's a worm drive column that feeds into this that's got a drive that feeds up the worm drive, and all the ball bearings and the coil in it had worn out, so the steering box was shagged, basically, long story short. So I just had to steer it on a mixture of semi-working steering column and just by the brakes on either side. If you ever driven a tractor, you'll know you've got brakes either side of the rear wheels that you can kind of semi-turn it on. So that's what I had to do there. But yeah, it's been a nightmare for me, really, with that tractor, because that's been going on since the summer and I still haven't got the bloody box back. So yeah, but I thought I'd just tell you that. Well, that's everything I think you need to know about where I am with the two Land Rovers, really, and what I'm planning on doing with them. So as you see, I got both of those, and I'm going to try make the best out of both of them. But so the next stage now, which I'm going to be acting on in the next couple of weeks, is I've moved that better bulkhead out of the two of them down to my workshop, and I'm going to be stripping that bare. So I'm going to have to take the steering box out of it. Steering box is going in my dad's lightweight Series 3. So I'll probably get a video in of us doing that as well. But mainly on this project, I'm going to have to strip that all out, dashboard out, everything, all the brake servos and everything. Do a bit of welding where it needs it. I think the only really bad bits on that are the floor pans. So yeah, but really I just wanted to introduce you as a kind of part one to get everyone up to speed on it, as I haven't had any previous videos of it. So I'm going to try and make a playlist out of this, showing kind of piece by piece as I do it, to getting it back up and running. So whenever that will be. But I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you do like what I'm putting out, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.